We had some actual good news yesterday. It's bad for Republicans. It's bad for people who are looking to suppress the vote, but it's actually good news for democracy. We had Pennsylvania Supreme Court previously rule back in January that the way that the districts are currently drawn in Pennsylvania benefits Republicans. In other words, it's been gerrymandered to all hell and back for the benefit of the Republican Party. And this is not a shock, right? There's been a number of different major efforts in Pennsylvania for years to combine gerrymandering with voter ID to help Republicans win elections. And just as a reminder, remember when Mike Turzai, the Speaker of the Pennsylvania House of Representatives, back in the Mitt Romney candidacy days, he straight up talked about this and did not even make an attempt to hide it as anything other than the political attack that it is. Remember this audio?
Voter ID, which is going to allow Governor Romney to win the state of Pennsylvania. Done.
Right. So anyway, that clip is always just disturbing. As soon as the Pennsylvania Supreme Court ruled last month that they need to redraw the districts in Pennsylvania because it's just, again, gerrymandered to hell by Republicans, there was an immediate appeal. The Supreme Court of the United States, the big Supreme Court, not the state Supreme Court, the real one, held an emergency hearing, and they decided, yeah, the decision from the lower court stands. Pennsylvania is going to have to redraw those districts, and very soon, in accordance with the lower court's order. And when I looked at the numbers, the Pennsylvania gerrymandering is so bad that even though there are 800,000 more registered Democrats than Republicans in Pennsylvania, Republicans have held 13 of the 18 districts during the 3 election cycles since the gerrymandering took place in 2011.
It's not even just a simple majority. I mean, that's a landslide difference.
It is a landslide difference. And I know that, when Trump gives a speech and the Dow drops 1,500 points, this story seems almost too small to even make a difference. But wins are wins, and this is a win, and we should be happy about it.
Well, I guess it's a little bit of a win, but Republicans got to use their gerrymandered map for
3 elections.
7 out of the 10 years that would be in place, right?
That's why the census is so important. We have the census, we have redistricting, and even if you immediately identify an injustice in that districting, it can take 7 years to get it fixed. And it's important to clarify. The Pennsylvania court decided that the gerrymandering violated the Pennsylvania Constitution, and the Supreme Court agreed. There are people who are misinterpreting or maybe misreporting this. They are confused. There are people who believe because the Supreme Court agreed with the lower court ruling, what they've said is that the gerrymandering was unconstitutional federally. That would be so huge because if the Supreme Court ruled that what Pennsylvania did violates the federal Constitution, that becomes precedent in other states. But unfortunately, that's not what the Supreme Court ruled. The Supreme Court ruled merely that the Pennsylvania court was correct, that their state constitution had been violated, period. This says nothing about the constitutionality of the gerrymandering ploys that are happening at the federal constitutional level. Still the right decision, though.
So I take it that the Pennsylvania GOP will be back at it in 2021.
Of course.
And this is what Republicans do. If you can't win the hearts and minds of voters over, you start emphasizing voter ID laws and gerrymander and get any way that you can get an advantage.
And this is why I've been saying census 2020 sounds boring, very, very important.